Welcome to yet another episode of me reviewing all of the shit that's in my office that I use for work. Today I'm going to talk about the TV tray. I hinted at this in the last episode that I was going to talk about it, and I feel like this could be one of the most easily underestimated pieces of equipment in my office, but it actually serves a lot of purposes, and it's also important for it to come under review because I think this is something that could be replaced with a better version, but which, again, do not underestimate the value of. Because what this is not only a movable table, but also a movable microphone stand. So because I've got my mic arm attached to this, this mic arm would typically just be attached to a desk. But if you have it attached to a desk, then if I'm, say, recording over there, how do I move my microphone over there? It's kind of a huge pain in the ass. And I used to have two microphones set up in my room, one that was on the desk permanently in my old room, and then another one that was attached to a TV tray because in my old room I did a lot more recording that was very far away from the desk, so it was helpful to have two microphones in the room. But in a room like this, where basically the microphone's only ever going to be in this space, it's very easy to just port this tray around. So for instance, if I'm recording a podcast at my desk, I'm probably going to have it like this. So the microphone's right in front of me, and I'm talking into it like so. Whereas if we're doing, let's say, a podcast over on the couch or a Let's Play, I'm going to drag it on over. Whoa, I just knocked my tea off the table. This is a part of what we're going to address as a problem with it. And now I've got a table over here. And if May is sitting next to me, let's say, we've got the microphone right here in between us. And, you know, we're a little bit far away from it, but if I compress the audio, it'll generally make everything sound pretty okay. You know, it'll basically bring up the quiet stuff, bring down the loud stuff, so even if we move around a lot and one of us is closer to the mic or louder than the other person, it'll even a lot of that out. But the other benefit of having the microphone stand like this, where it's right here, is that it's also a table. So let's say that we're having a drink in the middle of talking, because your throat gets parched when you're talking for 3 fucking hours. There you go. You got a table for your drinks, and the drink acts as a counterweight to make sure this fucking thing doesn't fall. This often gets pretty fucking covered in shit. Like, I cleaned my room recently, which is part of what inspired me to do this video series, is that I had such a clean office space. But previously it was completely covered in cans and random shit, like food and drinks and stuff, because we were using it so extensively because we record a hell of a lot of Let's Plays. Now, the biggest problem with this thing is that it very easily can fall over. The microphone itself is fairly heavy, and if there's no counterweight on it, while I can still have it like this pretty much fine, if we, say, turn it around and we're trying to get super extra length out of it by extending it all the way out there, it's gonna fall immediately. So I just knocked over some other shit with the mic arm. That's hilarious. So yeah, it's not the most sturdy. And the other big problem is that it's ugly as sin. I really don't like the color of this thing. It's pretty dirty. This is part of a set of TV trays that has been in my family for at least a decade, possibly more. This is something I used to eat off of as a child, you know, so like this TV tray set has been with me a long time, and no one in my family wanted it, so I took it knowing that I would find use for it. And it does have other benefits, though, such as that there's a clear leg space. So, you know, even if we have it pulled right up to us, there's plenty of room for your legs to be spread out in whatever angle you want. It's, you know, this is not very in the way. Whereas with tables with thicker legs, or like if I had a, like, you know, something that didn't have that space, it would be cramping me up. But I don't think the way that the legs are laid out works very well, because they are laid out for the short end of the table as opposed to the long end. Now, there are other tables shaped like this This is like a full-size desk and it's expensive as fuck. But there's TV trays that use this. I think Victor has one. And it's also, his is like longer and it's got a squishy top and it's got the legs crossed the other way, and that motherfucker never falls. It's way more sturdy than this one. So I probably could stand to replace this with one of those, because I do, sometimes struggle to, I knock it over. It's not that big of a surface area, so it can't hold that much clutter, which is a benefit to be able to hold more bullshit. Also, as you can see, it's pretty easy to get my mic cord tangled up in the legs if I am being an idiot. But the mic cord is long enough that this isn't a huge problem. If I tripped over this, though, I might die. Now, this is just one of a set, and I'm going to show you the others, because you can see some more uses for these, as opposed to just a mic arm / table. Down here, we've got one that May has been using as her gaming table. She plays League of Legends down here on this one. Then we've got this one that's being used as a display surface. Again, not very big, not super helpful, but that's a lot of fucking figures I've got on there. Again, the biggest problem with it is that it's ugly. Like, this display of gorgeousness is definitely offset by how bad the presentation is for it to be on a TV tray. I have a fourth one, and they all come on this, this thing that holds them all. This thing sucks, by the way. The biggest problem with it is if you were to put two on one side, it's going to fall over. It's rickety as hell. Just not the best. So I do think that I could replace these with a better movable table of some kind. Maybe like the one that Victor has. I wouldn't want to go too all out. I mean, these were free for me because they were just something my family didn't want anymore. So, it was a pretty easy to justify using these as opposed to buying new ones. But I would definitely say that having a movable table, especially with the mic arm on it, is an essential part of the way my office is structured. And it's just so much more convenient than, like, say, a side table, which, if May's sitting on this side and we're both having drinks, I have to get her to give me a drink. We don't want to have a table in front of us at all times. So this is a perfect alternative to a table. Movable tables, super helpful. Even if we're not recording, I often will just take off the mic and just use it as a table, like if we're just watching a movie or something. So yeah, I definitely recommend these. They're very useful. They're fairly cheap. I don't know how much the set of 4 costs. I'm going to say it's probably like $20 for one of these on average at Walmart, if that. I'm definitely going to investigate getting a better one for this room, though. So look forward to that. Peace.